So I've been at DBS about 2.5 years now, and I'm the group head of learning and talent development. So responsible for all aspects of training, of learning, of leadership development, and all of the annual talent management processes. But the areas we've been working on for the last couple of years that are most relevant to the Future Work Conference are really around the transformation of the bank in terms of creating a culture that's more innovative, more decisive, more collaborative, that's actually a purpose-driven organisation. But also really making sure that we have the capability, the mindset, as well as the tools, technologies and processes to be able to compete in the future. For banking, the big challenge is digital disruption. And the research suggests that banks will lose about 30% of today's revenue sources by 2020. Now, to put that in perspective, that would be like closing all of our branches in Singapore. So the threat to the revenue is massive. So our ability to innovate, to have a digital mindset, to collaborate across the organization is absolutely critical to avoid being disrupted. So there's a number of different things. There's, the physical workplace, there's how we get the work done, there's the mindset of how we think about customers and innovation. So one of the things DBS did before I joined, which I think was a very wise investment, was when they moved to the new building at Marina Bay Finance Centre. They made sure there's a lot of flexible space in terms of meetings and working and that, but they also made sure that they took the nicest part of each floor overlooking Marina Bay and they made it a social hub on every floor. So you have a kitchenette area, you have a TV area, but you have lots of chairs and tables and different types of spaces, whether you want to bring your lunch or noodles or get together with the team or just have a different place to work. You've got the nicest view across Marina Bay. And it's just, a lot of serendipity happens because you have people from different parts of that floor just, bump into each other. And it enhances the work style, the collaboration, the serendipity, if you like. So that was one. Likewise, I invested in a nice, Starbucks and cafeteria on the 13th floor, again with a nice view of the bay. So quite often we just go have our meetings there because it's a different environment. And when the company gives you different spaces to work, you actually think differently about your work. And again, you have that serendipity of meeting up and bumping into people. Those were some of the things. The other things we're just starting to do is pilot Office 365, and I'm particularly excited about Yammer and the speed of collaboration and productivity enhancement coming out of that. And then the other thing has really been affecting or developing, opening the mindset of leaders about the opportunity of digital and of working differently. So those are just a few of the things. So if you look at our relationship managers in wealth management and private banking, whereas before they'd have gone with a pen and paper, sat down with the client, done their financial planning, understood their risk appetite, and maybe gone back to them a few days later with some suggestions. They can now walk in with their tablet, do it in real time, showing the customer almost literally as you move the dial on your risk appetite and the types of options we can discuss, the implications that has for you in terms of long-term financial planning, your ability to invest for sending your kids to school, your retirement or whatever. So that's made it tremendously more real time. Again, in terms of learning, we're increasingly going from a stand-up chalk and talk type classroom to various methods of e-learning, of blended learning, of using tablets and simulations in learning, and increasingly a lot of mobile devices as well. So both articles, videos, podcasts on mobile devices, but again with the degree of social interaction. So you have the ability, excuse me, so you have the ability to respond, to rate, to comment, to share, which again makes it very powerful from a social learning perspective. Video conferencing. So most of the tools that are being talked about at this conference were in various stages of maturity of experimentation, of rollout. But we think it's incredibly important. So Yammer for DBS is very early. We're literally just piloting 365 and Yammer. But I can certainly share that, previously as a Chief Learning Officer at LG Electronics in Seoul, and we sort of rolled out Yammer initially unofficially and without permission. But very quickly we got viral adoption of about a third of the workforce, about 30,000 users. And what we found was it had a massive impact on productivity, on innovation, on creativity. So regular users, we identify, they felt they're saving about 3 to 4 hours a week in terms of productivity, which on a $50 billion corporation is about 7% productivity improvement, which is massive. Personally, my email dropped by about 40%, which was lovely, because people knew I would respond there. They gave up sending me email. Anything that could be shared, could be public, we put out there. When I ran conferences or meetings, or even the global, monthly conference call, different parts of the world, they're less comfortable with English. They're perhaps not, so confident about speaking on the conference call. You can have the Yammer stream going simultaneously whilst you have the conference call going. So it becomes very multidimensional. Even in conferences like this, we'd have the PowerPoint and the Yammer stream going simultaneously. So we'd tell people, put down your pens and paper, open your laptops, take your key points and notes on Yammer. And we'd capture all the richness of the conversation in Yammer, plus Q&A, plus ideas people were adding to the conversation as it went on. So initially it's very multidimensional, it's a little confusing. Once you get used to it, it's incredibly powerful. So I'm a massive fan of Yammer, and looking forward to the rollout at DBS, I must say. For us, it's as much about the mindset as it is about the technology. Whether it be Yammer or some other tools, you're asking people to develop new habits and break old habits. And people are creatures of habit. So, creating that new mindset, that new awareness is a big challenge. So we've done a lot of work literally bringing some of our hypos, our talents, together with startups in a sort of action learning format to solve real problems in what's called the DBS Hackathon. And there's more information about that online and at my LinkedIn profile. But we found that being incredibly powerful in terms of getting people to understand the opportunity and threat of technology and become comfortable enough to use it. The other thing we're just rolling out literally this week, we're the first bank in the world to do it, is something very cool called Smart Up. It's actually literally a mentor in your pocket. It's designed by startup founders for startup founders, and it helps you build your expertise and learning around developing startup, agile, lean, human-centered design, whether you want to learn about funding, about premium versus subscription model, data and analytics, how to build a startup team. And this was originally designed by startup founders for startup founders, sort of mentor in the pocket, because a lot of the senior investors, venture capitalists and startup mentors got tired of answering the same question to every new startup. So they built this really cool tool. What's taken them by surprise is big corporates like DBS are saying, we want to use that as well, because it's an amazing way to get thousands or tens of thousands of people really skilled up on that startup mindset. So it's called Smart Up. It's free from the App Store. The corporate version, there's very powerful analytics behind it. So to be frank, that's the thing we're most excited about at the moment, because it builds on the collaboration tools, the Yammer-like tools, the mindset work we've done around the hackathons, the different types of workplaces and flexible workspace, but the continuous learning around agile, around startups. That the Smart Up app is, I think, what's most exciting at the moment.